And, and I'll share the screen. Oops. Okay, well, good evening. Well, I guess it's inevitable with Beginners Academy that we'll have new beginners. And so we had some testing at the club, and Ryan and Cole and a couple others are going to be getting their license. And so I thought I'd give a pitch for the club here. A little introduction. And just a note about Beginners Academy, our goal is to help new and returning hams get started in the hobby. And we like to get that started as soon as the candidate passes their test. So our club members have volunteered to give short talks and demos on amateur radio topics for beginners. And we were doing this in the clubhouse, but due to COVID, we're doing it on Zoom. We also have a groups.io group, kind of a bulletin board that we can share resources. Hams can ask questions, and experienced hams are encouraged to participate and assist beginners. And I've said it before, but we're all beginners because this hobby is just so big, so much to learn. Our club call sign is Whiskey 4 Romeo Yankee Zulu. And when we operate from the club or at field day, we use that call sign. And our club website is w4ryz.org. And Panama City ARC's been around a while, founded in the 50s. And it's a warm, relaxing haven for Bay County amateur radio operators to meet, chat, and eyeball folks. But we also let in Canadians and anybody that will show up.
They got to have a visa.
Of course, we have 2 meters to talk on. And for the record, our club is a Florida not-for-profit corporation with a federal 501c3 exemption. And here's our clubhouse. And we lease the clubhouse from the city of Panama City. And so we're very fortunate to have a dedicated place to meet. And it's actually on a city park. And in regard to the clubhouse, Hurricane Michael did a number on it, and it was heavily damaged. Our tower was bent over the roof. Our roof was pretty much gone. Fortunately, our radio gear survived. And thanks to our club president and some assistance from members, John, we were able to work with the city, and voila, about a year later, the clubhouse is in really better shape than it was before, and we have a new tower. But the community really has realized the importance of amateur radio for emergencies, and a new ARES organization's been formed. And ARES is Amateur Radio Emergency Service. And ARES has a website, baycountyares.org, and they're looking for volunteers. But it's a well-organized bunch of folks, and they're doing a very professional job, and it's been recognized by Bay County, the Sheriff's Department, and on and on. Our clubhouse is in Millville on 130 North Church Avenue, and it's Millville, I suppose, because that's where the mill is. I found this photo, must have been from the late 50s. I believe these folks were getting ready for field day or something, but anyway, that there are our predecessors, about the same crew. Nobody's wearing short pants, by the way, so they had a dress code. We'll continue on. We do have some awesome club officers, and our president is Bob Lesko, WB8PAF, and it's not WB4, since he's from Ohio, it's WB8 Papa Alpha Foxtrot. Vice President Marv, KK4DIV. Our treasurer, Jack Crusan, N1HQ, who's with us. Our secretary, Bob Plank, KK4DIV. So you've probably met some of these folks when you took your test. And our sergeant at arms is Phil Radford, N4STC, who's with us tonight. But this will be a test here. All right. But we got Phil, N4STC, Bob, KK4DIV. We have many Bobs. Bob, our president. This is Marv. And rarely photographed is Jack, N1HQ.
In its natural habitat, yes.
For sure, but Jack is our treasurer, and you can't have a club without a treasurer, and we really appreciate him. And speaking of membership, a full membership is for a licensed ham is $20 a year. But Jack, a ham that passes the test, what kind of deal do we have for them?
We give them a free membership till the end of the year.
Awesome. Thank you. What's behind door number 2?
Yeah. Ryan, are you sure you don't want to take it again in January?
Yeah. But anyway, there's some other options on membership. And you can see them here. It's a bar, you know. So I don't know about the lifetime, but the honorary lifetime, that's good. Yeah, no dues. We have one honorary lifetime full member, Charlie Wooten. So pay your dues, please. And the guy you pay is our treasurer, Jack Crusan, N1HQ. Here's his address. He is my neighbor. So he's a good guy, but he'll take your money. This would be our schedule of meetings if things were normal, and we would have a business meeting the first Wednesday, and in fact, we would have these beginner academy meetings on the second and fourth Wednesday. Of course, but due to COVID, things have changed. We have started testing, obviously, and Gary Bills, AJ4KY, coordinates that. So I actually think we could have more of this on Zoom, but or we can go back to the clubhouse, one or the other. But just like all other activities in the world, addressing COVID. Let's see, and speaking of testing, it's restarted. So Cole, you may want to come back and take your general. But Gary Bills, who's with us tonight, he comes up with the testing schedule. And so how did testing go, Gary?
It went smooth, no problems.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. We don't want to hold up amateur radio for lack of testing. And so this is awesome. Gary is the test coordinator. That's my term. But licensed hams can become volunteer examiners and participate grading the test and so forth. So if you're interested in that, you can work with Gary on that. All right, well, on the air, we have our 2-meter net on Mondays at 7 p.m. on the 210 repeater. So new hams are going to have to figure out their radio and program it for the 145 210 repeater with a 100 hertz tone and check in. If you can join us, sometimes we have a net on 10 meters. After that, there is a round table that meets on Wednesdays, which kind of replaces the meetings that we were having on Wednesdays. And Bay County Amateur Radio Emergency Service has nets on Thursdays at 7 p.m. So you can listen in and learn things from them and join them if you like. So is that info correct, Gary?
It is correct, but also after we have the roll call of Aries members, we allow general check-in of all amateur radio operators.
Okay. All right. Well, the Monday night net is an informal net, and the Aries net is more of a directed net. But there's a place for both of those. In an emergency, you want a directed net. Obviously, using a repeater is a big advantage for mobiles and handhelds and so forth. We don't have any mountains, but we do have some towers for our repeaters. And so folks always ask, where is the repeater? Well, it's in the middle of the county, Southport. It's near the north campus of Gulf Coast College, which is also the Bay County Emergency Operations Center, EOC. And so at the bottom here, WKGC, the college station, has a antenna or a tower, and our repeater is sharing the tower. Do you have anything to add to that, Jack?
No.
Okay, I must have got it right.
You got it right, yeah.
So that building is right here under the tower, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So the repeater does a great job for us here in Bay County. Here's a picture. In this rack is the repeater itself, and it's a Yaesu repeater, and it will do analog FM or fusion. It will do a digital modes with a fusion kind of a trade name for it. So that's out there at the site that I previously mentioned. The club repeater information is on the top row here, and it's a minus offset 100. These tones are to get access. So if you don't have the tones turned on or on the correct frequency, you can talk, but the repeater's not going to let you, it won't repeat what you say. So it can be very frustrating. But there are other repeaters in the area. This 330 is a very wide coverage repeater, and Aries has been using that for their nets. There's also a D-Star repeater. It's digital voice. So you don't have to get on all these repeaters to get started, but they're out there. There's also a 6-meter repeater, and there's a linked repeater system on UHF called SARNet. If you just want to talk peer-to-peer, we have a popular frequency, a simplex frequency of 146.565. So if you want to get back to this information, it is on the website. Going inside the clubhouse, we actually have radios there. But Jack, I was going to say that it's a cover for a certain other organization. It's the inside joke. But nevertheless, here is a HF rig, a Kenwood, very nice radio. So this radio is available to amateurs who have, well, actually technicians can use it on certain frequencies, including 10 meters. But I would coordinate with our club president on using the radio or another officer, and they'd be glad to show you the ropes on it. There's also other radios there, but the next one is, well, it's not a radio, it's our tower, which is naked, but I'm sure that will be fixed. So due to all kinds of circumstances, we don't have an antenna on it yet, but it should ultimately have what's called a hex beam on the top. And so that's something that will be coming up. The club does have a HF antenna, but this was the replacement tower for the one that was folded over during Hurricane Michael. This is Chris's favorite. What is this, Chris?
This is a satellite system. This is the ICOM 910H on the right. And in reality, it's 2 radios in one. It can transmit on one VHF, let's say, and it can receive on UHF simultaneously. So when you're working the satellites, you can actually hear your own voice. To the left of it is a small laptop that I think Greg might have donated, and that coordinates the frequency. Because these satellites are moving so fast, even relative to the speed of light, the frequency of your voice shifts pretty drastically. And the laptop on the left handles all that so that you can sit back and have a relaxed conversation. The laptop also tracks where the satellite is in the sky, and you can see the antennas over on the left-hand side picture with the blue sky behind them. That whole apparatus will not only rotate left and right, it'll tilt up and down, and it'll be coordinated by that laptop so that it's always pointing at whichever antenna you pick. And then sitting on top of the radio and in front of the radio is a fantastic set of headset that you can get at Walmart for, well, you used to get it for $13, but apparently it's $16 now. Back to you,
Well,
Greg.
Different manufacturer.
well, what you can't see to the right of the radio are two rotator controllers, and they have an interface from the computer that taps into the control box and commands it to move to keep the antenna pointed at the satellite. So I just didn't get that in there. So this was a club project that a number of people helped out on, but Chris came down here for the winter and he really pushed it to completion. So, and hopefully we'll do a demo for newer hams, and we can probably do it on Zoom because Chris, the little laptop there, I put Zoom on it, and I can share the screen from that laptop.
Excellent. Yeah. You just don't want to be doing it when there's a hurricane 200 miles away, I don't think.
Yeah. Right. We thought about doing it tonight, but it was pushing it. All right. The club members do lots of activities, including operating outdoors instead of in the clubhouse or their homes. This is Bob KK4DV, probably, I don't know, a QRP rig, likely, and a mag loop antenna. So he's operating HF, and when conditions are good, you can really get out with this kind of arrangement here. And this isn't the only antenna you can use for portable ops, but it's an interesting one. It's called a magnetic loop. And there's interest in portable operating, and that's something that I personally enjoy a great deal. We also do expeditions to exotic places, and we did an expedition to St. Vincent Island. It's kind of between Cape San Blas and St. George Island, and the only way, well, you get there by helicopter or boat, so we used the boat, and a little charter to get over there. And we had a great time activating St. Vincent Island for a program called U.S. Island. So over on the right is the island early in the morning, so the sun is rising in the east, and it was a blast. And in fact, we've done it twice. And there are other islands to activate. We've also set up in Port St. Joe at the the lighthouse. So amateur radio cooks up all kinds of excuses to go operate. So islands on the air, U.S. islands, lighthouses on the air, it just goes on and on. We also do something called a tailgate, which is a little swap shop and social gathering at the clubhouse. This is the kind of thing that COVID loves to ruin, but these are always fun. We usually do at least 2 a year, and a lot of people can bring equipment they like to sell. They can buy equipment they like, they see, and the club also collects some equipment from estates and things like that. So, and I guess it's not a FSU tailgate, but anyway, it's something we really enjoy. It's a miniature ham fest. That'd be something to talk about later. Another activity, and Brian, are you back with us? I don't think so. It's called fox hunts or transmitter hunts, and you actually don't have to have a license to find the fox. The fox is usually a 2-meter beacon that's hidden, and these guys try to find it. So we did this out at Grumpy's Cricket Fence Ranch. So, but anyway, this is an activity that the club does sporadically. Sometimes at tailgates we do it. The big event of the year is usually field day. It's I believe it is the 4th full weekend. I don't know, but it is at the end of June weekend, and there's a lot of ways to do field day. The club, an example here, they operated at the Bay County EOC, and they set up a heads beam tilted over here in the parking lot, and they took advantage of the air conditioning on the inside. But anyway, field day is a 24-hour event, and it's something to see, and it's nationwide, including Canada, and it's a lot of fun. And if you think it's too hot in June, there's winter field day, which is at the end of January. So you can have it one way or the other, or both. So there's really a lot of stuff about the club I haven't mentioned, but gee, you can enjoy the world's greatest hobby even more by joining the club. Amateur radio is a hobby within hobbies. There are too many things to list that you can do. And you could spend a lifetime in just one little aspect, but you'll probably want to sample them all. We're always learning. There's plenty of opportunities. The club has mentors and friendly people. We have lots of fun, so I encourage you to join and participate. And hopefully, at some point we'll be back in the clubhouse and we'll see folks. We can do what they call an eyeball QSO. That's in person. All right. Well, does anyone have anything else to say about the club?
I'm ready to get back.
It's still dry. I've checked on it the last 3 days.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, near as I could tell, the water only got up to halfway on the boat launch. So,
Yeah.
and nothing washed down into it. So that much is good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, we have new people coming in, so we'll have some introductory information and our usual stream of talks going, and we might repeat some talks we've already done. But that is it for tonight. So I'm going to stop the recording.